morning, is it from Zetster's lab? I'm sitting on my bed. It's a windy winter's morning outside, waiting for hubby. We need to take back our rental car. Noddy, our 4x4, has been fixed after 6 months. So it's awesome. But I haven't made a video in a long time and I didn't have much to say. Until this morning I got these things in my head. It's like, my peace, I will leave you. I will leave you my peace, says the source, our spiritual father, the abundant life in us. But instead of experiencing this abundant peace in the midst of anything, there's only fear. And I was thinking about that, peace and joy in the midst, the life, abundant life, our very own life promises us, but that's not what we experience. And then do not talk to me about joy. I mean, my biggest desire is really to experience the deep, deep joy of my spirit. How many people do you know that really walk in joy, abundant joy and peace in the midst of anything? And I'm busy crocheting this jersey for my husband. And I was so busy with that I didn't have anything else. I didn't have time to paint or to write or to make videos or anything. It was just this jersey. And it's one of those crochet along jerseys. And I saw this beautiful picture of all this jersey with the cables. And it made me think of hubby when we were at university and in love. He had this bulky jersey that I crocheted, knitted for him. And he was always putting, doing this with the jersey. And he looked so smart. And I said, I'm going to crochet him one of that, because there's now this crochet video to do cables, and I need a challenge. That was my words. Well, believe you me, I got a hell of a challenge. This is now the front. You can see the cables. It looks much nicer there. And then he said, it took me more than a day to try and figure out what this woman on the video was trying to show me about these cables. And later I had a pen and paper and I was trying to figure it out. Well, I did. You can see the beautiful cables there in front. But then it became too small, so I had to add sides. And then the back, I decided there's no ways that I'm going to make that thing in the middle again. Those cables there in the middle. I'm going to leave that. Only the cables at the sides. And then I realized, but now this piece is not small enough. It's too large. And then I had to put pieces on the front. And then I had to make these lines at the back. It's just one huge struggle. I mean, I had the pattern. I had the woman showing me exactly what to do. But it was just crazy confusing. And then I realized this morning, that's what my life is telling me. Even though we've got a pattern in life, our parents did it this way and that way, and our community and our religion and our traditions, and that's how our life is supposed to get together at the end, unfold, and we're on our way, and things happen as we planned or visioned, kind of, and then all of a sudden things started to go haywire. Things just doesn't turn out as we believe and want them to turn out, and there's confusion and fear and anger and resentment, and it's a struggle. And then you need to figure out what to do now after you've now figured this piece out. That happens, and now you need to figure out how to handle this part of your life. And you come to a point where I'm now in this with this jacket thing that I actually don't know if the end product is gonna work. It's definitely not gonna be as I planned. That I now know for sure. If hubby's gonna like it or it's gonna fit him, I have absolutely no idea. But you know what? I just sense I need to finish this. I need to keep going, and that's the same with life. Focus on this day, and then we come back to the moment again. And the other thing in my life, the past couple of days, I get these doom and gloom thoughts. They just pop into my head. Things like, okay, we're on lockdown 4 again. I have got no idea what it means. But it's crazy with this whole pandemic thing. A lot of people I know and got COVID now, and our water is finished in our city. It's crazy. The dams are... Some people just doesn't have any water anymore. The dams are empty. And the electricity in the country is next to nothing. So yes, when I find myself thinking about these things, like thinking about this thing, it just totally overwhelms me. And then I have this beggar that's now for the last 10 years begging at my door, and he just keeps coming, and I just keep giving, and then I get this thing, but I'm now fed up with giving, and I cannot save him, and I cannot save the rest of my country and the world that's in chaos, and it just overwhelms me. If I cannot cope with one person that's begging at my door and driving me crazy, sorry to say it drives me crazy, just when I want to chase him away, I feel terrible because I know he's got nothing, but then I give and it's never enough. It cannot be enough. So that whole thing is really talking to me, bringing out my true feelings and my heart, and I didn't want to talk about this, but yes, it's not easy. And then every time it comes back to this day, this moment, when he knocks on the door and I opens, what does the spirit in me wants to do? So it brings me back to this moment. And then besides him, it's now all these other things. And sometimes it just totally overwhelms me. So where is the peace? Where's the peace I leave you? The Spirit says, my life says, I give you peace. Peace and joy in the midst of anything. And every single time. And then, now, as if that's not that crazy, I get these thoughts of, but what if hubby's gonna die? And then there comes, what if my children, if I never see them again? Anything can happen at any time. And then this fear starts to just rise up and up. It totally wants to strangle me. And then what then? And then it just dawns on me every single time. Breathe, come back to this moment, this day. Life happens now, this moment. Come back to that. Still your mind. Don't allow your mind to go there, because peace that surpasses understanding, the peace way surpasses, it's way beyond understanding, I will give you, leave with you, It's inside of me. It's inside the river of life. It's the I am in me is peace, and I've got it. But I can only access that when I live in this moment, because the abundant life flows now. All peace and joy and power and wisdom and love. Yes, for the beggar in front of my door is mine. When? Now. Now, because the life is flowing in me now, and I need to get into this moment now. Because you know what? Hubby is with me now. So enjoy that now. My children is alive and well and happy and doing really well in Thailand with my grandkids. My other son is safe and doing well in Cape Town. So that is what's happening now. The beggar is at my door whenever he's at my door. Now, at that moment. That's all I need to deal with. Not the what ifs. What if he comes tomorrow again? And what if he comes? And what if hubby passes away? What if I get COVID? What if my children gets COVID in Thailand? Or the one in Cape Town? And you know what? It's not happening now. And then it brings me back to that. I read something that this old man or a person is living all alone somewhere, having an awesome, peaceful life. What is he doing? He doesn't know about COVID. He doesn't know about the pandemic. He doesn't know about anything else apart from what's happening in his life now. And is it always easy for him dealing with whatever is happening in his life? No, he can go through sickness, a dis-ease. It's not a dis-ease. He can go through lack. Whatever he needs to face, whatever situation he needs to deal with that comes over his path, he's dealing with it. But he's not dealing with all the rumors and everything of what's going out outside his, call it life. He's living his life. He's going through what he needs to go through. But he's not concerned and not in fear about the war in that country, the pandemic in whatever. So we allow fear to enter in because of everything we hear and think and believe is going to happen, might happen. And we're in such fear that we cannot cope with what is happening in our life now, what we need to deal with. Never mind experiencing peace and joy in this moment, today. Even our spiritual brother, Jesus said, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to have enough problems. Believe you me, tomorrow's going to have enough things that you need to deal with. So don't worry about that now. Focus only on today and what you need to deal with today. That, if you do that, you will experience the abundance that life has already given you. Because it's in us. We've got the abundant life. It's not something that we're going to get. It's something that we already have. And we can either walk and flow and experience that abundant, everlasting, all-consuming, awesome life now, or we can ignore it, reject it. How? How do we reject and does not have access, whatever you want to call it, to the abundance that we need to live through whatever we need to live through this moment? Fear. Fear and living in tomorrow and the day after and the future. And then, the past, I was sick then, so that one died, so I'm bringing all of that things. That's not happening in my moment now. I bring that from the past and the future all into my moment, into this day. It overwhelms me so much so that I'm in so much fear, agony, depression, pain, hate. The blame shifting, the hate, anger towards everything and everyone that is the reason why your life is so terrible, miserable now, so that you cannot cope with what you're supposed to cope with. We're supposed, and able, fully able, miraculously fully able, prepared, filled to the brim, overflowing with everything that we need to live victoriously through this moment. But we can only access that when we still our minds from worrying about tomorrow and all those what ifs and dragging all those things that happened in the past into this moment. And that steals the life in us. So the war is always in our minds. All of us want peace in this world, in our little world. Never mind the big world, you just want peace in your world. So please, beggar, don't come to my door because you take away my peace. And don't tell me this and tell me that. And the government and their craziness of 50 billion rand that they stole and got lost and whatever, and corruption, now we don't have water and blah blah blah. I can blame everything, and yes, it might be true, but it's not going to help me to access the abundant life in me to help me victoriously through this day. Peace and joy in the midst. So I'm going to end with this story. A friend of mine died from COVID. And the sad thing for me is, he said he was in so much fear of COVID that the last year of his life was spent in constant fear. And then, yes, at the end, he died while having COVID. Once again, we were all going to leave this fleshly realm. Going back, just being spirit. And that can happen when it needs to happen. I don't know when I'm going to leave this. I don't know. It can be while I sleep in my bed. It can be while driving a car. It can be when I have some disease. It can be, I don't know. And the same with hubby and the same with my children. They're all going to leave this fleshly realm body at one stage. But the sad thing with my friend is, for a whole year, he missed the abundant life. Fear stole a whole year of his life. Because in the midst of even a COVID pandemic, and in the midst of drought, and the midst of a corrupt government, and in the midst of whatever, the life in us promises us peace and joy and power and whatever we need to live victoriously through this day. So once again, with this jersey of mine, just do what I can do now. I'm now busy with the thing that I'm going to put around the neck, because hubby didn't want a round neck. So now I'm making I don't know what, a collar. So I don't know if the collar, how that's going to look. But today, just still, we need to come back to this day, to this moment. And that's why a life of gratitude for what you have instead of what you think you should have makes so much sense. Find those things in this day that brings out the peace and joy in you. Find them. Do them. Do whatever you have to do. Remember, the war is in you. You want peace out there in your little life. Little, I mean, it's your life. It's a huge life. But the only way that you can ever experience peace in this realm is when you find it inside of you. Is when you still your mind. Is when you start to live in the truth that the abundance is already in you, that you have whatever it takes to get through this day. Let's say you have a disease, or you go through a terrible lack some kind. When you start to focus only on this moment, this day, you will get through it victoriously, through this moment. And tomorrow will also be now. So it will also be only this moment. So every time those crazy thoughts are coming to me and drive me nuts, I got a choice. Will I feed them, make them huge, so much so that they steal and destroy and block that life? You cannot kill the life, because that life is abundant, everlasting. But it can block it. So we need to start living in this day, in this moment, by accessing the abundant life that's already in us, that's there for the taking. Hello, Bella Blops, my little dog is here. Thank you that I could share this with you. I hope it helps somebody out there, because you're not alone. And to start walking in the abundance is a full-time job. It will not necessarily change whatever you're going through, but it will change you so that you can get through it victoriously. I'm not saying you're going to like it. Nobody likes being ill or being in hospital or having to deal with losing a loved one or a divorce.